Here we go. A very happy early, late Friday night, early Saturday morning, September the 11th, the famous day. All right. Sorry, I'll try to get the camera a little better here. I am not having my tea right now, I guess, so. I had a little bit of ice cream, so there it goes. I don't know why. Usually goes, my camera goes a little lower here. When we do something around, it's gotta be like around like this. No, we'll get it right. We'll promise. We will figure it out here. That's good enough. All right, I guess so. As promised, the 9/11 expose. All right. First and foremost, I want to say that my views and opinions are based on my research, um, countless hours of research, reading thousands of pages, lots of things. I'm not going to tell you everything I know um, for my own reasons, but I will, as promised, tell you what I think. You know what I've learned, at least some of it anyway, as I talked about this for many weeks leading up to right now. I'm not going to go over the basics that everybody knows. We know that two planes hit WTC 1 and 2 morning of 9/11. Um, this conspiracy theorists will argue holography, all these things. Um, Planes were taken off course, replaced with mock up, like a dummy, like a painted to look similar, crashing into those buildings. I've heard of various conspiracy theories. Um, we have video evidence. There's been a lot of video taken. But the thing, when I think about those, okay, well, I'm going to address everything, but let's talk about just the first two buildings first off, first of all. Now, again, I don't remember all the names of everything. I do know there was was it Silverstein, Larry Silverstein, I think is his name, took out a $99 billion insurance policy 3 months or 6 months before, an insurance policy against acts of terrorism specifically. You know, and so don't. I'm not jumping to conclusions. So, well, the Jews did it. Well, you know, who knows, right? A Jew could have been part of this. We don't know. We don't know because what happened was when those buildings came down, all the evidence was taken away. All the evidence was taken away. Now, all the whatever, all the metal was taken to a yard in New Jersey and shipped off within fairly quickly to China for recycling. Oh, we don't recycle steel here. The crime scene. You get rid of all this stuff. Who who allows this? Ah, well, it was I think the company is called there's a company, I forget what it's called, Demolition or something. It's a company, the same one that was involved with removing stuff from the Oklahoma City, similar kind of thing. Now, this is just stuff that does not make any sense. There's so many things that don't make any sense, but there is video footage of FBI agents moving evidence to be able to take pictures, moving airplane parts. I don't know who gives them the okay to move shit around. I'm not going to, and also the Pentagon, they're carrying stuff away. It shows video. There's pictures. Where are you going? Who said you can take that? Who said you can move that? Somebody did. Now, again, we'll get to the Pentagon thing in a little bit. But as far as those buildings, WTC 1 and 2, and then so they came down. Now, there was I think it was a B-1 bomber that hit the Empire State Building. The Empire State Building didn't come down. As far as history recalls, there has been no building has never collapsed due to a fire. Those buildings were the first. Now there's the argument, of course, is made of thermite being found. In the I guess in part of the superstructure, the metal beams and stuff. I don't know. Molten lava pouring, molten steel pouring. Where's a thorough investigation on that? No, there's no thorough investigation. That shit was cleaned up over a month or whatever, and NIST whatever drew their conclusions based on I don't know who, what they did. And they build another building on the spot, a cover up, build a building. Now we all know the narrative. We all know what the ways this story is explained. The hijackers, they took the plane, they hijacked. It was easy to get to the cockpit in there, and they all followed through with a plan. It's not that simple. I hold the contention that there's no way. There's no way that it could be it could be carried out that way. No way. 100% no way. Even 20 years ago. No way. Oh, was planes flown remotely? It's a conspiracy theory. I didn't even start on Building 7 yet, or whatever. That one, it fell down by itself. The argument is, well, no, that one was rigged to be demolished, detonated. Where's the? I've never heard of any talk of it. The evidence from that, anything. It's just something they don't want you to know. Now, my grandparents were Holocaust survivors, right? They raised me. I remember them talk about what they went through. Friends of, my grandparents, so we didn't think it could get that bad. I'm not saying the U.S. is turning into Nazi Germany. But who's to say that things haven't changed? And when I mean change, I'm talking about serious change. Now, I'm not sure if correct me if I'm not mistaken, you say that 4% of this country is owned by the Saudis. 4% of the entire country. There's no argument that Bush had ties with the Bin Laden family. It's kind of weird, huh? Who's Daddy Bush in all this? Hey, everybody should have been investigated. Everybody, and they weren't. They weren't. You know, if those buildings were rigged, I'm surprised there's no, you know, there's no proof. There's no video footage. There's nothing. Controlled Demolition was the name of the company, I think. But you know, now I haven't even really, but you add this all up. There's just no way. It's like a script, you know. It didn't happen magically. Those guys didn't get lucky that flew those planes. You know, they didn't magically perfectly fly them into buildings. I didn't even get to the Pentagon or the Chancellor thing yet. They weren't allowed to do it. It's really important to understand this. Who allowed? Hey, do your own research on that one. There's rumors that Cheney gave some okay to somebody, some high level Air Force guy or something. There's a picture of Cheney with his feet up on the desk, watching the buildings, on fire or whatever, having a donut or something. Boy, look real comfortable, huh? I hate to say it, but what you think is not. And was it Werner von Braun? Nazi scientists were brought to this country. To work on, was it the YouTube program? Develop like the flying wing. If you look at similar with that, what they were developing, it looks very similar to stealth bomber. Stealth fighter, stealth bomber. I know those are two different names. I hold the contention that they brought that here, but they also brought something else here too. And so I don't want to get off topic. I'm going to stick with the expose. So buildings come down, and we don't know if there was thermite, if the bombs were set. There were bombs sitting there. We heard firefighters going boo 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 boo. What does that mean? What does that mean? NIST says the investigation says that when buildings collapse, that's how they collapse. And then the argument's made at free fall speed. It fell at free fall speed. There's no way that a building could fall at free fall speed unless they were detonated. They were set to be detonated. No way to know. Take all the proof, take everything, whatever, to a scrapyard in New Jersey. I heard some of the drivers, they were told, do not stop, do not stop. Yeah, go right there. Yeah, what's the hurry? What are you getting rid of that shit for? Who said? An answer for everything. There's an answer for everything. You know how long it takes to rig a building, to bring it down? You think it's something they do in 5 seconds? I mean, I'm sorry. It's like just I feel like news, and then they just tell you what it is, and then you're supposed to believe it, and life goes on, and that's it. You know, it's okay. Awful, yeah. Of course, it's awful. Those people died, but it's not as simple as you think. It's like, you go to, I know I'm talking reality and movies, but you go to watch a movie, and in 2 hours it's over, right? You watch, you're watching whatever, and you're believing whatever. But at the movie, there's a shitload of fucking people there. Credits, people that made it, or took part in making the movie happen. They're all part of it, a little bit here and there. Everybody did a little something. Now, 9/11, it's a very complicated. That morning, they had like planes that were running these tests off the coast of the Atlantic seaboard, and these planes, allowed to come in there like no problem. So, I mean, that's all I'm gonna. I don't know what. Look, there's a lot of other theories too. You know what brought those buildings down? There's a woman that holds the contention of a some type of device, what the hell was she talking about? Like a ray, some type of a detonation type laser ray or something. We didn't see any laser that morning, but think about this. Like, you don't think our technology, we don't have something, that could have been fired upon, could have been tested possibly that morning 20 years ago. Very possible. If that's the case, then people that know about that, it wouldn't surprise me. Now, we all hear about false flag operations and things like that. There's an Operation Northwoods, which Kennedy, talked about. He said, no, I wouldn't accept that. It gives the government the right to do things like that. I know it sounds absolutely ridiculous, but look it up. It's amazing. Like, you would think, no way, it sounds crazy. Of course, it sounds crazy. Of course, it sounds crazy. But let's look at the end result. Let's look at what happened. Nobody talks about the evidence of the Building 6. Nobody talks about taking nothing. No. It's like this fast fucking thing, and then it's a day of memory. Oh, it's 3,000 firefighters. Or, of course it's awful. Of course it's awful what happened. What's even more awful is that we did not do a full investigation on this, or the people that were in charge of the investigation just kind of like, oh yeah, no, we can explain this. You don't understand. What they're explaining the columns, how, oh yeah, under that type of heat, that gave way to that column, and that's how it pancaked it. No, that's not the type of investigation I'm talking about. If you can't figure it out, you're too stupid. Well, we have like Video Airline, the shows those guys and whatever, Mustafa, whatever, those idiots going into the terminal, going. That's not what I'm talking about. So they're basically showing you nothing, is what they're doing, and the argument is, well, no, they don't want you to know, they don't want to. Of course, they don't want to. You think they're idiots?
They act like, oh, they pulled one on them that morning. They were just unprepared for this. Unprepared. That's like all they do. That's like, that's what they do for a living. And they didn't see it coming. Like whatever. You believe that? It's all fucking scripted, dude. The fool is you. Okay? Shit's fucking allowed to happen. All right? Fucking idiots. If you believe that's all you see on the news, you believe that, that's it, without doing any investigation, research, or thought analysis, you're a fool. Okay? That shit was allowed to go down. Period. Now, Pentagon. It was idiots. Well, there's a missile that hit there. Yeah? Where's it's just all, bro, where? There's no video footage of nothing. There's nothing of nothing. There's a hole in that fucking, in the superstructure of the Pentagon, the rings that it went through. And there's pictures I've seen, pictures of the FBI guy carrying off pieces of like a plane, United or whatever. David Icke says no, it was small. It was it was one of those drones you made up to be something, a big drone disguised as a missile or something. You can't, The thing that gives it away that it was the plane that hit is because there's the whatever, there's a highway that runs adjacent, and there's light poles that were brought down. It was clipped by the wings of the plane. So that argument is negated. We know that was piloted. Whoa, it didn't even touch. Yeah, he flew it perfectly. But you know how big one of those planes are. Where's the where are the wings? Where's everything? Oh, it all disintegrated itself. It all disintegrated itself? What you have, and then, they show you some shoddy something. They got the fucking proof of everything. They don't want to show you nothing, okay? They don't want to show nothing. For whatever reason. They don't want anybody getting ideas. No, they're covering their ass, man. They're covering, there's people there, they know. Because there's more to the story than you're being told. Because you're not researching. No offense to security guards and stuff, but they're not the smartest people in the world, man. You don't see nothing. You don't know nothing, man. You thought you saw. Where's your fucking video footage? Well, we didn't have. That, the importance of the Pentagon thing just gave a reason. And it just seems like, look, everybody knows Halliburton and Cheney, they profited from this. And it basically just punished the people, took away people's freedoms, and created this terrorism thing. Exactly. Is it possible that we basically created this terrorism thing? Oh, and it's a very difficult thing for people to comprehend. I told you, everything changes. This is not the same. It's not 1776 anymore. It was supposed to hold, those laws into contention. But let me tell you something, man. Shit, Jesse Ventura talked about that. He said, this is not the same America, that he even grew up with. He even talked about that. your rights can be eroded very, without you really understanding. It's like they talk about, and I don't want to get into Area 51. I don't want to do it because I'm sticking strictly with the 9/11. I said a full expose on this. It's like you're not allowed. It says sign, you're not allowed to go there. It's just like none of your business. What kind of research, what they found, what they do, what they know. It's none of your business. And that's what basically 9/11 was. It's a none of your business thing. Oh, sure, you know about it, yeah. Like what happened? 3,000 people died. That's all you need to know. That's all the business that you're ever going to find out. But how exactly what went down is none of your business. That's what they're basically saying. That's what they're basically saying because they're not willing to, full investigation on it. Now that Shanksville, that plane that went down there, sound great. Oh, let's roll. The people on the plane, they had enough. They said, you can believe that. It sounds like heroic kind of thing. It's possible, which would, that's great. People took a stand and everything like that. But there's also proof that a F-18 or whatever shot it down, and that goes with the rule. A plane is hijacked and could commit some serious damage. Hey, it's expendable. That's part of like warfare. That's the way it goes down. That's what happens. Not to make a pun on that, it's not funny, I know. But they said the debris field was like half a mile, like all that stuff. What could create a field like a debris field that big? It's a missile. It's more than likely that plane was shot down. It wasn't let's roll. People took a stand and the plane crashed. That sounds nice. It sounds nice. But in reality, that's not what happened. And there were people saying they saw some white jet way up there or something like that. Nobody knows nothing. Nobody sees nothing. Nobody talks about nothing. Nobody knows nothing. I didn't even talk about, the worst, one of the worst things of all. And this is what just takes it over the top. And this, but again, there's a lot of arguments about this. That Bin Laden family were allowed to fly out. The only plane allowed to fly out. Now, I've tried to research this. One account says that no planes were allowed to be in the air after 9/11 except military. And Bin Laden family was allowed a private charter to go back to Saudi Arabia. Then they say that's a conspiracy theory. It's not true. They were not allowed to fly out until planes were allowed to fly. Regular commuter planes were allowed to fly. So the question I have, either or either way, is this: you're allowed to leave. Why were they allowed to leave? If they're a part of something, I don't know, relative of anything. Hey, you're not going anywhere. They shouldn't have allowed to go anywhere, but they were. So the question is, who allowed them to leave? It just goes deeper and deeper. That's what opens up. That's what tears. That's what starts to where you start to go behind the curtain. And you start to see, you're poking holes in the curtain. You're starting to see that, hey, I just told you, the first thing I say, 4% of the country or more think maybe even more. I'm not sure. So what does that 4% mean? It means you do whatever you want. Just about. It's like this circle. Like, well, they're pointing, well, then it's his fault, and then the other person says, well, no, it's his fault. And the other person saying, well, no, it's part his fault, and it just goes around. And it just goes all the way around. It goes back around to do, oh, it's his fault. It's his. He told me. Didn't the people that took orders from Hitler say, hey, we were just doing what we were told? They're all fucking guilty of it. Now that's different. You know, that's the Nazi regime, you know? Is it different? Everything's different, right? Now there's like these truth movement truthers, you know? They go out there and they try to make a stand. They go, oh, fix everything like that. And I said, hey, you know, if I have to lean toward one side, I lean with them. Not toward the mainstream, not to the media, the mainstream thing. They're just reporting. They don't, oh, it's awful. They're just reporting, but they ain't digging, man. And then I saw a National Geographic special where they talked about a possible plane diversion that were taken off course, but they're hypothetical situations. They ain't digging deep enough, man. And then there's this article written in the Akron Beacon Journal claiming that the plane that was diverted, one of them, had landed. They had the Cleveland Hopkins Airport was vacated, and that plane landed. Huh? Well, where's the people? Where's the plane? I've read some theories on what they did to that plane and the people, if that's the case. Anything's possible. Be surprised. Yeah, they just, something smells. It's just fishy. It's not so simple. It's not so simple. There's no way. That's one of the first things I said. There's no way those hijackers could have pulled that thing off with those two planes, the buildings coming down, and the plane in that Pentagon without any type of aided assistance. Now, what do I mean by that? There's a 10-mile no-fly zone around the fucking Pentagon. 10-mile no-fly zone. How does a fucking plane get in there? There's Andrews Air Force Base right there. Well, you didn't see it coming. You didn't see it coming? You didn't see it coming, man. It's so that's stupid. Like we were caught off guard. We didn't know. Caught off guard? Yeah, caught off guard. More like intentionally told to, part of, It's unbelievable, It's just it's an awful, it's an amazing, awful thing that happened. But I hold the contention that it was allowed to happen. It was allowed. There's no fucking way that something like that can't happen without being having some type of like push behind it. And he's, now what's his name? David Icke holds the contention of the Sabaton Francus cult, a cabal cult that, like, I guess, like piranhas. They don't care. They eat anything. They want death. They want destruction. They love this kind of thing. Is it possible? Anything's possible, right? Anybody, he goes deeper when he says, well, there is a reptilian race, the Archons, and they need that negative energy to survive, to fulfill their life force. I don't know if you go that deep, but I have an open mind. I like David Icke. I believe like he holds a lot of things, but he made an interesting point. He said there's people within, administrations in our country, in Israel too. So when someone says, "Oh, the Jews did it," and they say, that sounds ridiculous. Look, there's rotten and good in every race. Okay, I'm Jewish, but there's rotten in every. Doesn't matter. So when he says the Jews did it, it's very possible. It's very possible. You have to have an open mind to everything. To understanding. I told you the first thing about the guy that had the lease on the fucking trade center. He took a $99 billion insurance policy against it. Doesn't that sound strange, man? It's just amazing, It's all people, they talk about, the memory of everything, but no investigation, no, none. How can you? All the evidence is gone. Huh? It's gone from day one. They carried off that shit. There's plenty of pictures of guys carrying off shit. Who allowed that? Of course. Somebody did. There's so many things that don't make sense, but it wasn't, it wasn't the planes that were hijacked. Our country was fucking hijacked on that, time before then too. What they did is, it's like they want to see how much they could get away with, is what it is. I think, what's his name talks about that, InfoWars. It's like they did a Nazi, but in a different way. That's what it is. It's exactly what it is. Freedom is like being taken away, but it's being done like, just it's like, I don't really know how to define it. It's not like socialism, but it's just something where, you kind of just don't realize it. Like the frog in the frog in the boiling until it just cooks the frog to death. He doesn't realize that the heat's being turned up ever so slowly. But I think that's what I think it was going on before, and then that day just gave a reason to like expedite it a little bit. I know there's a thing called the Agenda for the New American Century. Where agenda. It was a book, not a book, but it was these things that, that's something for something else. But it talked about the idea for the U.S. Space Force. Trump didn't come up with that. That was already talked about years and years ago. They were going to do that. Listen, I need to tell you, but most people are they're just stupid, okay? And you know why they're stupid? Because they watch television. They don't read. They don't research. That's why they're stupid, okay? Now, I'm not saying I'm fucking genius. I'm not saying I'm smart. I know everything, but I fucking did enough reading and research to get a good idea, of what's going on. And you know what? I don't fucking care, man. Because there ain't nothing gonna fucking, it don't matter. People gotta survive. They gotta make a living. That's all that fucking matters, okay? That's all that fucking matters. None of this shit really fucking matters. Why how did it happen? Who fucking cares? Do you really care? Like, do you really give a shit? No. About, your family, your friends, and making a living or whatever, you don't give a fuck about. If that shit was a false flag operation, if it was a fucking, put together, whatever, it doesn't fucking matter. It really doesn't. There's nothing you can fucking do about it. You think about that. I mean, nothing you can fucking do about it. Anyway, I hope you appreciate my 2 cents on highlighting some of these things, and the things that I thought was interesting, that wasn't really addressed that much, that they, things that they should be talking about, more. But you can't run a full investigation when all the fucking evidence is gone. It's all taken away. It's all gone. But to me, you're a fucking moron if you think that these hijackers took these planes or fell in Shanksville, crashed in Shanksville, Texas. Oh, those buildings did not fucking come down due to fucking fire, and feel no fucking way. No way. No 100% no way. 100% no way. Those buildings were rigged to come down, man. That shit was all fucking staged. That shit was all planned. That shit was all meant to fucking go down on that day, and it all fell down. It all came down the way it was supposed to come down, the way that it was planned. All fucking planned and aided to come down, not by fucking some moron in a cave, okay? No intervention by NORAD or nothing, okay? Where were they? Where were they? Where were they? We didn't know. You ain't fucking idiots. You knew everything of everything, man. You ain't stupid. You stupid? You think they stupid? They sure acted stupid that morning. Because it was meant to fucking happen. It's all designed to fucking happen. It's a shame that most people, and I love this country, man. I'm proud to be American. I'm proud to be an American, okay? I was born here. But it's shameful that shit like that was allowed to happen. What's even more shameful is most people don't understand that it was allowed to happen. They just don't get it, It's either you're a conspiracy theorist or you're not. It's not conspiracy theory. That's fucking fact, dude. It's a UFO is a conspiracy theory. The aliens. There ain't no way to prove it here or there. There's no way to fucking prove it. All the fucking evidence, they took it all away. All that shit was taken away for a reason. They don't want you to know what fucking happened. They don't want you to know. You think you'd be upset. It would be a revolution unlike anything you could possibly imagine if people really knew what happened that 20 years ago. Probably will find out maybe many years ago, and people don't care. It's calmed down. It don't matter anymore. Can you imagine if they found out that, like, and you know where I'm going with this. I don't even have to say it because you can put it all together. Everything I've told you. I hope you can. If your brain is not smart enough to put it all together, from everything I've told you, then I don't know what to tell you. Then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I think. It matters what the facts are. That's all that matters is the facts. I'll leave you with something to think about. You walk around on the street, whatever, you see a homeless person, you don't give a fuck about that person. Okay? You don't. You don't give a fuck if they live or die or anything. You probably don't wish them bad or anything. It don't matter though. It don't matter. They're irrelevant. They're irrelevant, okay? I want you to think about that. Think about that, man. There's some powerful people out there that got a lot of money. They got, for them, doing things like this is it's sick, I know. But it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. Does it, if it surprises you, you got to get your head out of the sand, man. Got to get your head out of the sand. Because what you're doing is you're being fooled. You're being told, oh, remember the memory, remember the memory. Hey, it didn't say investigate the memory. It said remember the memory. It didn't say, they're not talking investigate what the fuck happened. That's just as important, if not more, out of respect to those 3,000 people that died. They ain't gonna do that. They're gonna honor the memory, but they ain't gonna fucking investigate that shit, man. They ain't gonna do it. You're not gonna do it. You're just gonna be stuck with your little beliefs that you think some of these fucking sand niggers that fucking flew in their buildings, and that's that. You just don't know. Remember what I said about going to a movie. Remember that at the end, all those fucking people are responsible for creating that movie. And it's the same goddamn thing on that fucking day what happened. The same fucking thing. Exactly. 100%. 100%. There were people that involved, and then maybe they didn't want to say nothing or anything. They're all part of it. They're all fucking part of it that made that shit go down. Plenty of them out there. Those people that took away the evidence, they're all part of it. They're all everything. It's amazing. It's amazing that people just don't, they don't do research. They don't read. You don't got to be that smart to put two and two together. But if you don't know how to do math, you can't put two and two together. If you don't know how to do math, that's what most of you are. You don't even know arithmetic. What I mean by that, you know what I mean. Two and two together. All the evidence, you put all the evidence together, it paints a clearer picture. But you don't know that because that's all you do is you watch the news, and whatever they tell you, that's it. They showed those pictures of those people. That's the way they did. That's the way they did. They flew in the building, and that's all. That's all. Story over. End of story. No need to research. No need to any evidence or any proof of nothing. That's it. Of course. The biggest hoax is one of the biggest hoaxes pulled on the American people, as far as I'm concerned. If not the biggest of all time. The biggest hoax. You're fooled, man. You're fucking fooled. You're fucking fooled, man. Yep. Sad. Anyway, may those people rest in peace,